Okie dokie. I'm here today with my friend Manu Koenig, who is the District Supervisor for which district?
First District.
First District. And once again, I'm here to do my little segment called Santa Cruz Conversations to find out what's going on in government, life, state, and local. And I'm here today with Manu, who's been on the show many times, probably because we bribe him with merch for socks. I don't know, but likely. But
just to see you.
Just
to see you.
So can you tell me, like, what you're working on and having an easy time with, maybe a hard time with, or I'm just trying to get an idea of what a supervisor does during daily life.
Sure, so it's been a big year for the county. We've got most of what we asked for this year in terms of some big ticket items like state money of over $25 million for the Watsonville Hospital.
Yeah.
We've heard about the recent $115 million for active transportation, including $105 million for the next couple of segments of the rail trail. We got 2 grants for Project Home Key projects to house about 50 new units of housing for people experiencing homelessness. And I could go on. Actually, at our last meeting, we just approved the purchase of the last building in the Sheriff's Center complex over at Chanticleer and SoCal Avenue. And that's going to be a new youth mental health crisis.
Where's that at?
Chanticleer and
SoCal
Ave,
yeah.
The Sheriff's Center is
yeah.
there. So the county owns 3 out of 4 buildings today, and we just approved purchase of the final one, which will serve as a residential crisis center for youth. Right now, youth that are having mental health crisis have to go over the hill or out of county somewhere else because we just don't have long-term beds for them. That's going to change finally as we get this stood up here in the next year. So all that means we're asking what it is the county does. We're officially a division of the state, and so a lot of what we do is get state money in and distribute it for programs here locally.
Do people apply for those programs, or do you pick the programs that are out there?
Well, there's a combination of things. I mean, a lot of the time, our staff here at the county is writing grants to the state. I mean, all the things I just mentioned to you, and none of it was a given, right? Of course, it's also due to the fact that in this past year, the state has had a historic government budget surplus. And so a lot of that has come into the county thanks to the hard work of staff and these compelling grant applications. Next year, we're looking at a budget deficit. Last year it was $27 billion within the state budget. So it could be more difficult.
So you need to catch the rainbow while you can, right?
We caught the rainbow this year.
Right.
Next year is going to be a challenge. It's an ongoing challenge for us in terms of getting these state monies for one-time money to build projects, but then not really having enough operational funds to maintain it. And so I hear about that all the time in terms of the quality of our parks, the maintenance of our parks, the quality of our roads, on and on. I mean, even just how much staffing we have at the Sheriff's Department. Operational funding is really the biggest challenge we face.
How long have you been supervisor for now? Has it been 2 years?
It's about 2 years, yeah.
And you have a 4-year term?
Yep, 2 more years.
What did you not know? Now you're in the seat. What did you not know going in that you know now?
I think I've learned that there's opportunities to do things not only through new ordinances, laws, or programs that I'm writing and proposing, but also just through the regular course of business as issues come up that we're discussing as a county board or as projects come through. Within the first district, we have the most area that is both unincorporated but still urban, and so that creates a lot of challenges and as well as a lot of opportunities.
Okay. Like with the fire.
I mean, our whole county, we have the most area per capita that is in the wildland urban interface that is sort of both urban, at the edge of the urban area and where the wildland area starts, and that's actually the highest risk area. So it's a challenge.
Were you involved with Senator Laird about helping getting the Watsonville Hospital, I wouldn't say reopen because it wasn't closed, right? But in better hands.
Keeping it open.
Yeah.
Other than a support role, I wasn't intensely involved.
Okay.
A lot of it was our staff here at the county, so our county administrative officer and his direct staff, our county budget manager. They were in constant communication with State Senator to make sure that we got that extra money that we needed, the $25 million. I mean, granted, the Watsonville Hospital, that was the largest community donation process ever. I mean, ultimately the purchase price was $45 million, so we had to basically raise $20 million up from the state funds,
Right.
Or in addition to the state money.
Right.
And it's really only thanks to very generous giving on behalf of lots of people here in the community that were able to make that hospital public and keep it open.
What's been your biggest victory so far since you've been in office?
Biggest victory?
Yeah.
Well, we finally got the tiny home ordinance passed.
Yeah.
So you can build a tiny home both as a primary dwelling or as an accessory dwelling now.
On your property?
Yeah.
With obviously with permits, correct? You can't just go ahead and knock one up.
It's a ministerial permit process, so it's pretty lightweight and shouldn't take too long to get through. I think other major victories, we've done a lot for housing this year. New incentives for housing projects to provide bus passes to all the residents. Just reducing some of the barriers in building housing, even like just making sure that piping is the right size and we're not, wasting water and energy,
right.
Putting hot water in pipes no one's going to use. The victories really getting both the money for the Vets Village up on Highway 9 that'll house 20 veterans who've been homeless, as well as for the Park Avenue project over near Cabrillo that'll house 36 people who've been homeless. That combined 56 units of housing. It's not everything we need, but it's a good step in the right direction, and I was happy to be able to help with those projects.
And what's been your, I won't say your failure, but what's been your hardest, your tallest hurdle? Well,
the hardest, certainly dealing with homelessness effectively is the biggest challenge. I would say, I mentioned the county's ongoing issue with just not having enough operational funds.
Yeah.
And the two biggest ways that comes out is with managing our roads and having enough money to properly take care of our roads. We are chronically underinvesting.
The roads are bad.
Yeah, and it gets back to the percentage of our property taxes that we get as a result of state law that was fixed after Prop 13 passed. So we actually get much less money than other counties. We get on average 13 cents of every property tax dollar, whereas the statewide average is about 20 cents. And so we just can't keep up. And the other area that we see besides roads, of course, is money for shelters for people experiencing homelessness, as well as other services related to that. Even as I mentioned, staffing our sheriff's office, and just the constant challenge then of not having enough shelter, but then also having to continue to enforce the law,
right.
And deal with unsanctioned encampments that impact neighborhoods.
Have you thought about toll roads? As far as I go back to my brother in New Jersey, and there's all those tolls there, which they complain about, but the roads are perfect. And here you come over. I just drove Highway 17 a minute ago. It's just you need to go to the dentist after you've driven over Highway 17. The roads are just bad.
Yeah, I have thought about toll roads, and having gone to school in Massachusetts, of course, they have toll roads as well. Couple things there. First of all, you can't toll an existing highway in the state of California. That's the current law. I know we could seek an exception and work with our state legislators to change that, but that's something to consider. But the other option would be to create an express lane, similar to what we're seeing going on Highway 101 over in the Bay Area.
Right.
But the challenge is that's about at least a $500 million project, $500 million. And I looked into it further, and toll roads, they pay for their own operation, but they probably wouldn't provide enough funding to actually build that entire extra lane. So anyway, well, I'll keep looking into it, but there's no clear solution.
Yeah. So when you leave here to go home every night, do you feel like you're able to accomplish something most of the time, or most of the time you feel like you haven't accomplished something? Just on a daily basis.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of keeping up with things on a daily basis. A lot of my day-to-day is responding to constituent requests for service, whether it's an issue with the road,
Oh, me texting you at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Or, yeah, and of course that's a big reason why I'm happy to have staff that can help me out with a lot of those things. But still, that's a lot of it. And then, you know, keeping up with the different requests from different organizations to introduce new legislation. So, you know, my days consist of a lot of meetings. I would say that most of the time when I feel a sense of accomplishment is after a Board of Supervisors meeting where we're able to pass something or you know, get funding for an important program.
Yeah. How often do you have the supervisor meetings?
Our Board of Supervisors meetings are usually about twice a month.
Okay.
And then I host a town hall meeting that rotates throughout the first district every month as well.
Okay.
Once a month.
And they can check that out. You have a website, correct?
Yeah. You can go to manukoenig.com and then that'll redirect you to my page on the county website. You can also go to the County of Santa Cruz page and click on Board of Supervisors and click on my face, first district, and get a list there.
Okay. Thank you, my friend. Make it short and sweet. I know you got another meeting coming up in a minute. I want to appreciate your time and effort. And
well, thanks for coming by.
I thank you.
Have lots more of these conversations.
Merry Christmas to you.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you.